Hey dolls, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing the part 2 of my 5-part series on drugstore foundations that are raved about for oily skin. And today's foundation is actually quite intriguing for me because this is the first time I heard of a BB cream that is meant for oily skin. So today we are going to review the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB cream for oily skin. We are going to do a full review on this foundation. We're going to do a try on, first impression, photography test on flash and non-flash, wearability test where I keep you updated on the 5th hour and on the 10th hour, a blot paper test so we can really see if this would keep my oil at bay, and that's it. But first, let's read the claims on this foundation. This oil-free matte BB cream formula provides the perfect amount of coverage to even skin tone, hide blemishes, it won't clog pores, and keeps you shine-free all day long. Clean Makeup's water-based foundation is non-comedogenic. It lets your skin breathe, goes on easily, and blends perfectly so the world doesn't see makeup, just the look of great skin. So when it comes to cost, this is $8.97 in Canadian at my local Walmart. And the shade that I got is shade 540 Medium. I believe that this comes in 5 more shades, which is quite limited because there's like a wide range of skin tones out there, but this only has 6 foundation shades. When it comes to packaging, this comes in a plastic squeeze tube, which is very handy and very light, perfect to put in your purse because it's very small and light. When it comes to scent, it actually smells like glue. I don't know why, but it smells like glue. But when you're applying it on, you couldn't even notice the scent and the scent will just go. And when it comes to ingredients, this is actually rated 91% on Skin Safe, which is I think the highest I've seen so far out of the 3 foundations that I have reviewed. So if you're new to my channel, I'm just gonna let you know the condition of my skin. I have oily combination skin, so my T-zone is very oily, and then some parts of my face are very dry, and I also have a lot of blemishes on the side of my cheeks here and over here. These are actually healing acne, so they're very red and dark. And then I have hyperpigmentation on top of my cheeks, and I have large pores on the side. So we're really going to put this foundation to the test. So I'm not going to use a primer with this, because supposedly BB creams are moisturizer, sunscreen, foundation all in one. It's supposed to be that way, but I'm not sure if this one has SPF. I'm gonna research again and see if this has SPF, but it didn't claim any. So I got the shade 540 Medium. It looks like a mousse. It's between a mousse and a cream. Is it weird that it kind of smells like glue? This is what I'm sort of expecting with BB creams. They're not really full on coverage. And usually with BB cream, I use my fingers. So I went straight to my fingers. I didn't even think about using my sponge or anything. But on my right side, I'm gonna use a sponge. Coverage wise, I would say light to medium. So this is a pea-sized amount of foundation on my left side. So with no foundation, with foundation. So far it's very light on the face. It evened out my skin tone. It kind of reminds me of the MAC Face and Body. I wouldn't say it's very matte. I would say it's a demi-matte finish. So I'm gonna use a sponge on my right side, and I'm gonna see if that is a better way to apply this foundation. So I have my AIRBRUSH sponge, and I'm going to apply this foundation on the right side of my face. I'm going to apply the foundation on the right side of my face using this sponge. Let's see. Okay, it's so much better, right? Okay. Then again, my AIRBRUSH sponge is the best. I just have to say, off the bat, this foundation is quite hard to apply because it keeps moving and moving. I think I need to let it set a bit more before I put the second layer. I think my left side is already set. So if you're using this foundation, I think that it's better applied with the sponge than with your fingers. Usually if I'm using a BB cream, especially the Korean ones, those are better applied with your fingers, and I'm used to using my fingers using a BB cream, but this one, when I apply it, it just keeps on moving. It doesn't stay in one place. So I think using a beauty blender is better because you can just stamp it. And thank you so much for those who actually bought my airbrush sponge after watching my foundation videos. I'm sure you love them. And if you are actually curious where to get them, I'm just going to put the link down below. So that's with 2 pea-sized foundation. I'm getting into the medium coverage. And then I'm going to apply another pea-size on my right. Okay, so first impression. First, let's go with the application. I feel like this is better applied with a beauty blender than your fingers. Usually when I use BB cream, especially the ones from Korea, I just use my fingers, and that's the best way to apply the BB cream. But with this, I find that you have to use a beauty blender or maybe a brush to better apply this on, because it's actually really hard to make it stay in one place. You really have to like stamp it on. So when it comes to application, just use a beauty blender or a brush. When it comes to coverage, I would say that this can give you light to medium coverage. I don't think this could give you a full coverage, and I actually don't expect BB creams to give you that full coverage look, because BB creams are meant to be like a tinted moisturizer kind of thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think BB creams were actually invented so that people who has gone through peels and extensive facials can use this, because it can serve as a moisturizer, sunscreen, and foundation all in one. So I'm kind of confused with this foundation because it's meant to be a BB cream but for oily skin, so it's supposed to be matte. But it also has to make sure that it doesn't cling to my dry spots. Like say if I had chemical peels and stuff like that, then it shouldn't, right? But right now it is very matte, so you can really see the pores on the side of my cheeks here. And I like the coverage though. Like it doesn't show the redness and the dark spots here where I had my blemishes. And it actually covered a little bit of my hyperpigmentation on top of my cheeks. So when it comes to coverage and covering the blemishes, thumbs up. But I like the feeling of it on my skin. It feels really smooth. It feels like I actually have a powder foundation on. So I'm going to finish my makeup, and then we're going to do a photo test with flash and non-flash. And then I'm going to wear this for 10 hours, and I'm going to update you on its wearability on the 5th and the 10th hour. Okay, so now I finished my makeup, and I use a cream blush, I use a cream contour, and when it comes to blendability of this as a base, I think that once it's set, it's really set. Like it sets into a kind of a powder foundation. So my cream blush and my cream contour actually blended really well. I didn't go heavy with it, but the foundation didn't move when I was applying my cream blush and my cream contour, so that's a plus. I didn't put any powder on top of this foundation simply because when it was setting, it actually really feels like a powder foundation. Like it's very smooth, it doesn't have any tackiness into it. So I think I wouldn't need any setting powder on top. Now when it comes to photography, I actually tested this on natural light with my phone. Looking at my phone, I actually look a little powdery, which is weird because I didn't use any powder with this foundation. And you can really see the pores on the side of my cheeks. But when it comes to coverage, I actually really like that it really evened out my skin tone, and it actually really hid the darkness on the side of my chin. So next time when I use this foundation, I have to make sure that I use a pore minimizing primer, because you could really see my pores on the side of my cheek. So far coverage is really good. When it comes to finish, it actually looks very matte right now, to the point that it looks like a powder foundation, what I've told you before. So I'm going to wear this foundation throughout the day, and I will be updating you on the 5th hour and on the 10th. So my audio got cut off while filming, but here's my 5th hour. The coverage is so much thinner than when I freshly applied this foundation on. And there's a transfer from wearing my mask, so the foundation on my chin has also been rubbed off. But the good thing is it kept my face really matte. Now here's my 10th hour. I can barely see the foundation, although when I touch my skin, it still feels very smooth. It kept my face matte. And here's what I got from my blotting paper. It's so much less oil than what I usually get. So here are my final thoughts. Let's start with the pros. I love the light and handy packaging of this foundation. I also love that its ingredients rank 91% allergen-free on SkinSafe. I also like that it's very light on the face, and I love the shade that I chose because it's really spot on. And although this only gave me up to medium coverage, it really hid my dark acne marks and hyperpigmentation. And it kept my face matte throughout the day. Now for my cons. It looks very powdery matte on my skin, and it really highlighted and emphasized the large pores on my cheeks. And it's not long wearing. It thinned out on the 5th hour, and I can't even barely see it on the 10th hour. So I wouldn't say this is a good foundation to have handy when you need a foundation to last for the whole day. So I'm giving this foundation a 3 out of 5 stars. First, I'm just so confused how it's marketed as a BB cream, but it has no SPF. And there's not a lot of characteristics of a BB cream that is in this foundation. And just for personal preference, I don't like the powdery effect it had on my skin, and I didn't like that it highlighted the pores on my cheeks. But I think this will be great if you have oily skin but you don't have a lot of texture on your skin. I'm also thinking that it might work as a mattifying primer because it really kept my face matte throughout the day. And maybe I can layer a better foundation with good coverage and good wearability on top. But if you want to use this foundation as it is, you just have to make sure that you have a good primer and a good setting spray for it to last. So that's it, guys. That's the end of my review for the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB Cream. I hope you find this video helpful. And if it did, please give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. On my next video, I'll be reviewing the Wet n Wild Focus Foundation. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be notified once that video is up. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Keep safe.